Hey everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. I have a new guest here today, Caleb. Where are you from, Caleb? If you don't mind me asking, I didn't ask you that before.
Hey, Cartez, thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate you taking this time out to meet with me. I'm originally from Washington, D.C., so I was born and raised in the Washington, D.C. area.
Okay, and you're now currently in Merida. How long have you been here now?
A few weeks, so about almost 2 weeks now.
Okay, and you came from Colombia, correct?
Came directly from the Dominican Republic.
How long were you there?
So we were in the Dominican Republic about 7 months, and we
And
went directly from Colombia to the Dominican Republic.
how long were you in Colombia?
In Colombia this time, I actually don't remember off the top of my head exactly how long I was there, but I want to say almost a year, something like that.
Okay.
And we were in Punta Cana when we were in the Dominican Republic.
Ah, nice. So what was your experience like in Colombia? I know a lot of people here that watch and listen, they inquire about moving to Colombia. What was it like for you?
Well, as you probably have heard as well, a lot of people do say that it's dangerous. A lot of people speak about that. However, myself personally, I haven't experienced that. I've been to Colombia several times, starting in 2019, and it's just been beautiful experiences. So to kind of summarize my experiences, well, I'll just go to how I got started.
Yes.
I'm a man of faith. I believe in the Bible. I'm a man of faith. So my first time going to Colombia was about 2019. And I was looking at YouTube videos about Colombia and things like that. And I came across a guy, an Afro-Colombian guy. He was making videos. They had to do with different cultural aspects, even a little bit about the Bible, things like that. So I reached out to him. We started talking. And long story short, when I went to Medellin, me and him met up. So he's originally from Choco, Colombia. I'm not sure if you're familiar
Yeah.
with Choco.
Uh-huh.
He's from Choco, and we met up. He introduced me to some other people there, mostly Afro-Colombians. And I kind of started a relationship since then. So again, that was 2019. And I've had relationships with people in Colombia ever since then.
Wow. Now you met your wife there, correct?
Correct. So the guy I just told you about, he introduced me to a guy who's my friend now. He actually just called me, and he's the one who introduced me to the family of my wife. So we would have Bible study and things like that together, and her family would be there, and that's how we met.
Wow. Now, do you speak Spanish, or when you met her, were you speaking pretty good Spanish?
Yeah, so I was speaking Spanish to a point. I wasn't anywhere near fluency, but I had been studying Spanish beforehand. So my first time actually traveling outside of the country by myself was in 2018. Before then, I think I had only been to Canada. But other than that, my first time traveling outside of the country was in 2018, and I went to the Dominican Republic my first time. And so around that time, I was already studying Spanish. I was watching Spanish videos. And actually, even many years before that, I had already decided that I wanted to learn Spanish. But as you know, it's a long process. It takes time. So I was actually I'm 35 now. I was actually about 23 when I first started trying to learn Spanish. Right,
Wow.
living in the Washington, D.C. area, as you probably know, there's a lot of Hispanics and a lot of Latinos. So I would speak Spanish with them, or try to at least, and study different programs, etc. But again, I didn't reach what I would call fluency or semi-fluency until recent years.
So I'm assuming that your Spanish speaking ability and skill sets improved as a result of your relationship, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so she definitely corrects me when I make mistakes and things like that. And so going forward, I don't make those same mistakes. Or if she does, or if I do, she corrects me. And as you know, it's a learning process. So it's little by little. You say a word, you say it wrong. The next time you say it better, you remember how to say it, etc. So it's a process.
Yeah, I read a crazy statistic a few weeks ago, some number saying something like 57% people when they go to a new country to live or stay for an extended period of time. They get on these dating apps to meet a girlfriend or a boyfriend, vice versa, for the sole purposes of learning and improving their Spanish. So I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that's one of the things I did, not with the girlfriend boyfriend thing, but one of the things I did when I was trying to learn Spanish, this was around 2019, 2020, 2018, is I would find online partners that I could exchange with, intercambiar. We would exchange languages. We would speak on the phone. It could be a guy. We would speak on the phone for, let's just say, an hour. 30 minutes of the conversation would be completely in English. So that way they're able to benefit from me correcting them, etc. And then the second half of the conversation would be completely in Spanish. So I would benefit from speaking only in Spanish with them speaking back to me, and them correcting my errors as well. So that helped me too.
So was this a website that you found this on?
Absolutely. There's websites. I don't remember off the top of my head, but there's websites that facilitate that.
Wow. Were they free, or did you have to pay a fee?
I believe they're free up to a point. But then when you want someone that's more advanced or something like that, they do charge you. But of course, you can get into contact with someone, and if they're willing, you guys can just exchange languages for free. Get on WhatsApp. That's what I would do.
Great advice. Okay. I'm going to jump around a little bit and probably come back to some of this stuff that we're talking about. Why did you leave the U.S.? So it sounds like you've been traveling for a bit, stayed in multiple countries for extended periods of time. Was there a reason why you decided to leave the States?
Sure. So it was about, again, like I mentioned, 2018, the first time when I went to the Dominican Republic. I was working in a corporate office at BGE, which is basically Exelon in Baltimore. And a buddy of mine, an associate, a work associate, he was telling me about the Dominican Republic, that he would travel there, this and that. The women are beautiful, et cetera, et cetera. And so he piqued my interest. And so I said, you know what, I'd like to go with you. I'll travel with you for a few days just to check it out. And so that was the first time when I went. In 2018, we went for like 4 or 5 days. We went to Santo Domingo, and I fell in love with it. I said, hey, I'm coming back. And that was the first step to my travels, to me traveling outside of the country. So one thing I've noticed is that when you speak about moving to another country or living abroad, when you speak about it to others, many times they'll tell you, oh, no, that won't work. Oh, no, don't do that. It's dangerous, etc. So a lot of times you just have to do it. You don't have to tell everybody. You just kind of have to take the initiative.
Between Colombia and the Dominican Republic, do you have a favorite?
Colombia, definitely Colombia. Now, again, I remember one time I had already been to Colombia a few times at this point. I was telling some of my buddies in the United States and people that I know, hey, I'm going to Colombia, I'm going to Medellin. Someone told me, hey, that's if you make it. That's if you survive. That's if you make it back. Right? I was telling them I'm going to visit for a while, then I'll come back. So again, people feel like it's dangerous. I know that Medellin, Colombia does have that fame of the narco trafficking and things like that. But it's really, for the average person, it's very tranquil. It's very cheap, So.
Yeah. And I found that, like you say, while a lot of people talk about how dangerous it is, we lived there for an extended period of time. I had my daughters with us as well. And, we never ran into any problems, always felt safe. But, a lot of times you just had to pay extra attention and be more mindful of your surroundings and just be watchful of certain things. But it never had any issues. It was a beautiful place. And I mean, I absolutely loved it. Like you said earlier, the cost of living was absolutely amazing. I mean, it was very, very affordable. And I often tell people it was much cheaper than Mexico. And I would probably say much more modern, depending on what part of Colombia you were in. It's a great place. What part, which cities in Colombia were you in? Oh, which
So
one
I
do you like the
visited
most?
Medellin.
Mhm,
Medellin is where I spent the majority of my time. As you mentioned, they do have a good infrastructure. They have
mhm,
everything that you need. It's very convenient, very, at least from my experience, it's safe. I know a lot of people say it's not so safe, but as you mentioned, you just have to pay attention to your surroundings, use common sense. Anywhere can be dangerous, you know?
absolutely.
Medellin, I also visited Cali, Colombia.
Mhm,
I visited Santa Marta,
mhm,
Colombia. That's on the coast. And I also went to Choco. So with my buddies in Medellin, we visited Choco together because they're from Choco. So they
mhm,
would take me on a drive, roughly, I want to say 6 hour, 5 hour drive, something like that. And we went to Choco, which isn't as built up, but it's very beautiful. A lot of indigenous people, a lot of the Afro Colombians live in Choco.
mhm.
And there's a lot of country. Quibdó is the, capital city. And so Choco was also a beautiful experience. I went there twice, spent a few days there each time. So, like I said, I just had an extremely beautiful experience in Colombia in general.
Mhm. For people who've never traveled before and they've heard all the great things about living in Colombia, which city would you recommend or suggest a first time traveler going to check out in Colombia?
Medellin, definitely. I think Medellin has, again, everything that you need. In general, I would say that it's safe, very cheap, as you mentioned. That's one of the primary benefits. You'll be shocked at how little you have to spend on Uber, on groceries, on your rent. It's amazing how cheap it is. And as you mentioned, it's cheaper than Mexico. I'm here in Merida, and here it's also relatively cheap as well, at least from my experiences.
Mhm.
But the rent is much cheaper in Medellin or in Colombia. Yeah, so
Absolutely.
I would definitely recommend Medellin. It has huge malls, great infrastructure, metro train, everything you can want, Uber, etc.
Yeah, I mean, I can't overemphasize the cheap part of Colombia. I remember I had got in the Uber, drove across town. It was like about a 20-minute drive. And, when I get charges on my credit card, these notifications pop up on my phone and show me what was charged and by who. And I remember getting out my Uber and getting the notification, and it showed the charge was 91 cents. And I was just shocked at
Absolutely.
how cheap that was. And Uber
That's
rides
Colombia for you.
more expensive here in Mexico. But yeah, you're right. I mean, that just blew my mind. And one other thing I liked about Colombia, like you talked about the transportation, taxis are literally everywhere. You walk out of a store, supermarket, there's about 20 of them already lined up on the street. You don't have to wait. You don't have to call them. They're already there compared to, say, Merida. They're not in it as abundance as they were in Colombia.
Exactly. But what I would say is that, at least from my perspective, Merida is safer
Yes.
if you're doing it for a family. If you're looking out for a family, you want to just be in a safe area, tranquil area. You don't have to worry about anything. Merida definitely has the advantage. But for myself, Medellin was excellent.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people ask me, well, Cartez, you've always talked about Colombia, you always pumped it up, and you live there, and now you're in Mexico. Why did you end up choosing Mexico? And like I said, I ended up here quite, literally on accident. It wasn't intentional, but when I got here, like you said, the safety factor was on a whole nother level. You were able to relax a lot more, not be so alert. I would make videos with my phone, and people would walk up to me in Colombia and tell me to put that phone away, put that phone away. You're making yourself a target. But here I could just let my guard down. And like you said, we were here with our daughters. And so I chose the safety factor mainly for them, just to err on the side of caution, just because I had young daughters that like to go out, hang out. And so the safety here in Merida one overall, and it was a no-brainer for me.
Absolutely, and better influences for them as well. They have a lot of programs here for families, you know, for adolescents, for teenagers, for young adults. So definitely more family oriented.
Definitely, definitely. Let me ask you, what were your biggest fears before making the move, and how did they compare to reality?
Honestly, I would say my only fear, so to speak, would be if I'm going to be able to support myself indefinitely.
Hmm.
I would say that would be the only thing for me, because it wasn't until around 2018 when I stopped working for other businesses, because
Hmm.
I had already been doing digital marketing before that. I started around 2014, 2015. But at that time, I was also working for other businesses like New Star, the College Board, and
Hmm.
BGE, which is Exelon, as I already mentioned. So it wasn't until around 2018, 2019, when I said I'm going to stop working for all other businesses and only work within my business, dedicate all my time and effort to that. And when I left the country, I left a few times before I stayed out permanently. And up until then, I would say that would have been my only concern.
Okay, so which leads to my next question. So 2018, 2019, you decide to focus in on your own business. What type of business do you have, and how does it work?
Absolutely. So it's a digital marketing business called SEO Rank Media.
Hmm.
Now, back in 2015, around 2014, when I started, I created a website. A buddy of mine who I went to school with would always speak about his website, his business, etc. And he put me onto the idea. And so I created a website back then. I started to learn digital marketing back then. But as I said, I was still working for other businesses. So my business was kind of a side business for several years. And it
Hmm.
wasn't until around 2018, 2019, when I stopped working for the other companies, that I decided I'm only going to do digital marketing. So we offer search engine marketing services, which is to say local ads, which are LSAs, Google ads, and search engine optimization. So we help people have their business be found online by people who are searching for their service or products.
Okay, okay, and I see how that's important. I was in that space for a while. Oftentimes, the biggest mistake people made was, "Oh, I'm gonna start a business. Let me just throw up a website," and think that was all there was to it. But the issue was, hey, people need to know that website exists because there's hundreds of millions of other web pages up online. So, um, how so your services is it something that works pretty quickly? Are they able to see results over a certain time frame? Can you kind of elaborate on that aspect of it?
Yep. So as I mentioned, search engine marketing encompasses various things. So with SEO, which is search engine optimization, that's getting your website found organically on
Hmm.
search engines like Google. So if someone was to go into Google and they were to type in, let's say, for example, moving to Mexico
Hmm.
or help with moving to Mexico, something of that nature, someone with a business like yours, for example, I'm just using you as an example, they want their website to come up on the first page of Google organically so that people can, and when I say organically, I'm speaking about not the ads that pop up on the top, the paid ads.
Hmm.
Typically, people scroll past those paid ads and they go to the organic listings. So you would want your website to pop up. So that's what we do. We help optimize your website so that it comes up on the first page of Google for those particular terms that are relevant for your business. Now, when it comes to ads, that's something kind of separate but still related. Many of the keywords are going to be the same or similar.
Hmm.
However, with Google Ads, you're paying per click. So you're paying for people to view your ad and then click on it when they search certain terms in Google. And when they click on it, you're going to pay each time. And it depends on how much you've paid to Google Ads. That determines how much your ad is going to show and how much clicks you're going to get. And so once your ad budget runs out, you're no longer able to get clicks. Whereas with organic search, you're able to stay in that position because you're not paying Google directly for that position. Your website has simply been optimized, and Google with their algorithms can see that your website is the most relevant for these terms. So you're going to last on that first page much longer than someone who's just running those temporary Google ads. So very often, some people would prefer search engine optimization for long-term business growth, but others may prefer Google ads because they're trying to get a bunch of people through the door as quickly as possible. And many times it's good to have a blend of both.
Makes sense. I know quite a few of our subscribers are business owners. Many of them are established, others are just getting started, and I guess many of them, they definitely want more exposure because they want to move abroad and work remote, just like what you've done. How would a person find you, or get more information about your services?
Absolutely. So let me share my screen with you here briefly, if you don't mind.
Sure.
One moment. So are you able to see my screen?
I am.
Okay, great. So as you can see here,
there's a little box on the right hand side that's blocking.
Okay.
I don't know if you can minimize it. There you go.
Okay. No problem. So as you can see on the screen here, I have our website pulled up, which is SEO Rank Media. And my original business was Kazam SEO, which I did sell this year in 2024. It's still up though. It's still running. People can search it, Kazam SEO. That's all one word. And now I'm investing all of my time and efforts into this business, SEO Rank Media, which actually has been in existence since 2022. Now, as you can see on the screen here, these are some case studies that we have with some clients that we've worked with. Anyone can just check out our website and they'll be able to look these over. Another thing that I wanted to show is my Upwork profile. Now, if people are not familiar with Upwork, it's a platform where people are able to hire freelancers or hire businesses to do certain jobs for them. And this is my profile. You can see I have 100% job success. For those who aren't familiar with Upwork, Upwork provides badges to the top percent of talent, which is called top rated badges. But this is one tier above that, which is top rated plus. So this is the top 3% of talent on Upwork. And so you can see 51 jobs, and you can see many of the reviews that I've gotten from clients here as well. And even when I scroll down, you can see some of the verified reviews. These are reviews from clients that I had outside of Upwork. Upwork allows me to get those reviews posted on their platform as well. So this is what someone can expect when they work with me, when they work with us. This is our business, SEO Rank Media. And we do guarantee results. And so that's one of the things that many people are concerned about when it comes to marketing. They don't want to waste their money. They don't want to waste their time. And so that's why we do stand behind specific guarantees. And it depends on your particular business. It's not one size fits all. So once we do an audit of your website, an audit of your business, we're able to see exactly what we can do, and we can create customized plans as well as customized guarantees for you and your particular business.
Wow, that's impressive. That's impressive. Top rated plus, and I'm looking at all the positive comments you got. 100% job success. So you're the real deal.
Absolutely. Yeah, we like building relationships with our clients. Not only do we provide results, but we also want to build positive business relationships that are mutually beneficial going forward. So that's kind of our motto. We want to build relationships that are based on respect and, mutual benefiting.
I love it. I love it. And so they can find you online. What's your web address?
SEOrankmedia.com.
Okay, and I'll drop a link in the description for you all to click on the link as well. Um,
Absolutely.
so so how did you get started? Is this something you taught yourself? I oftentimes try and encourage people to in the direction of entrepreneurship, doing something that they enjoy. There are so many skill sets people can go online and learn, get certifications online and learn these skill sets. How did you learn this, and how long did it take?
Yep. So that's exactly what I did. Now, around 2014 and 2015, when I first got started, as I mentioned, I had a buddy that was into digital marketing. So he would teach me some things, and I also would take online courses myself to learn the process, learn the ins and outs of the business. And I also earned several certifications as well. On my Upwork profile, it also shows some of my certifications. So throughout the process of time, I learned obviously more and more. And now I've been in SEO, in digital marketing for about 10 years. So I'm an expert now, but it does take time to learn the ins and outs of marketing, the difference between SEO, email marketing, Google ads, local service ads, and how they can be used in tandem to provide the most robust, marketing campaign for someone's website, someone's business.
Wow. So I'm assuming, because I know you were talking about you were working for other companies prior to, I think you said 2018, if I remember correctly. How has working for yourself, starting your own company, given you, what has that been like? Has it given you more freedom, more options, more flexibility?
That's exactly what it's given me. And I've always wanted to be a business owner. I don't necessarily like the idea of someone creating my work hours for me. I don't necessarily like the idea of someone being able to hire me at their will or at their whim, fire me at their whim, and then I'm out of a job. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily like that idea. So ever since I was a teenager, I always wanted to be a business owner. So that's why the idea always attracted me. And yeah, in 2018, 2019, when I decided to go all in on my business, it provided me with a lot more freedom, a lot more of the ability to be creative, a lot more of the ability to obviously move around from travel, move from one country to another. So I wouldn't trade it for anything. And I don't regret anything at all.
Would you say the online, and again, I appreciate you sharing this, because a lot of people tend to overthink a lot of things. And, when you mentioned that your friend taught you some things, and then you went online, took online courses and got a couple of certifications. So it was literally as simple as saying, hey, I want to learn this skill set. I want to go deeper. I signed up for a course and I just continued to expand my learning. And that's what allowed you to eventually build a company. And it sounds like you just said you successfully sold one and now you're starting another. Is it simple as that? Is saying, hey, I want to learn this skill set. Let me put in my time. Let me put in my work. And hey, and over time, as you start to build, the opportunity for freedom to open up is a realistic possibility. Would you say that's the case?
Exactly. And, I bootstrapped it. So I was still working for other businesses while I was building up my business, building up my company on the side and learning as I went. Now, I do have a background in marketing and data analytics. So I was doing that when I was with New Star, when I was with the College Board, when I was with Exelon. So some of that, and I also worked in corporate. So some of those skills also transferred over to my business, my digital marketing business, which at the time was Kazam SEO. So some of those soft skills and some of those hard skills did transfer over, but I still had to learn digital marketing from the perspective of a business owner and someone who is only doing digital marketing, if that makes sense, who is focused on search engine optimization, Google ads, etc. So yeah, I definitely bootstrapped it and learned as I went. You know, it's one thing to take a course, it's one thing to study something, but it's a completely different thing to actually do it in real life, to come across new problems, new issues, overcome obstacles. That's what's actually going to teach you in the long run.
I love it. I love it. So y'all that are listening in, many of you all are retired and looking for something else to do. Many of you are about to retire and you see that, hey, you know, I haven't enjoyed what I've been doing much in my life and I want to do something different. I think just in listening to Caleb, you know, it's not over yet. I mean, pick something, make a decision on, you know, figure out what you want to do. And, you know, with the internet, it opens up all sorts of opportunities for you to choose and learn what you want to learn. If you want to be an herbalist, there's a program, there's a course online for that. If you want to, you know, be a running coach, there's programs out for that. I mean, you can learn anything you want. You can download these courses, buy these courses, join coaching programs, and just learn and just start a whole new career. And now it's not going to be easy. It's going to take time. You're going to have to put in the work. You're going to have to put in the effort. You're going to have to build it, but it's all possible and realistic. And I bring this up because a lot of you all are saying, hey, I want to live abroad, but my job won't allow me to go. I won't make enough money, but this is a great opportunity to redefine yourself and do something that really matters, or do something that matters to you. And many of the skill sets and businesses that I've started over the years, I've literally bought online courses and learned the skill set, paid the money to go to some of these coaching programs and conferences so I can go deeper and understand more. So it's not over. So you don't have to necessarily look for a job. You can create your own, or you can look for remote work. So both options are available, but you just gotta make the decision to go out there and do that. So definitely thank you for sharing that, Caleb. I'm gonna again jump around a little more. Question. A lot of times, a lot of people say, hey, I like your channel, Cartez, because you share the good and you share the bad. So I'm going to ask you this question. What aspects of living abroad, in your opinion, do people often romanticize that you think they should be more realistic about?
I would just say that you'll still have to work hard. That's what I would say. I think some people, at least for the average person, some people might think that when you travel to other countries, or, you know, you're living abroad or living what they call the digital nomad lifestyle, that it's all relaxing on beaches with a pina colada. But the reality is that still a lot of work. If you're a business owner, you still have to work hard. You might have to put in 8-hour days, 10-hour days, etc. You might have to stay up late at night working. So it's not, as you know, Cartez, it's not all relaxing and just being on vacation. So I would say that that's what I would say. And other than that, it is beautiful. It is a beautiful life. There is a lot to enjoy. There's a lot of new experiences to be had. There's a lot of new people to meet, new languages to learn, etc.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's I tell you, one day, you know, like you say, that beach life and the idea that, hey, it's all fun and games. I remember one day I went to the beach with my laptop. This was many years ago, trying to live this so-called beach life. Went to the beach with my laptop, got a chair, sat down. Man, it was miserable. It was hot, sand blowing all in my face. And I was like, man, whoever said this was the life, man, they done lost their doggone mind, man. I ran back to my room and started working in my little apartment. But the sound bites that people put, or the short clips people put on these Facebook timelines oftentimes give people the false impression that it's just a life of luxury. And like you said, you got to work at it. It's not as easy. It's not as glamorous as many folks think. You really got to work. And if you don't have anything to do, you go bored. You go crazy after you run through all the things to do in the first 90 days. Now you're just sitting up in the room bored and ready to leave and go somewhere because you have nothing to do. So it's wild out here.
Absolutely. But don't get me wrong, there are beautiful beaches, definitely,
Yes.
especially here in Merida and Cancun area. These are some of the most beautiful beaches I've ever seen. As I mentioned, I just came from Punta Cana, also some of the most beautiful beaches I've ever seen. I don't know if you've been to Cap Cana.
I haven't.
Cap Cana. It's a vacation area within Punta Cana. Juanillo Beach, extremely beautiful, white sand, clear water, tranquil. So don't get me wrong, the beaches are beautiful too, but I'm just saying there's balance. You'll have to still work very hard.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let me ask you this: what are some unexpected challenges you face that you wish someone had warned you about?
Honestly, I can't really think of any, just being honest with you, other than what I already said. I will say that, and this might be a little off topic, that here in Latin America, there's a lot of motos. There's a lot of motorcycle driving, especially in Colombia, in the Dominican Republic, etc. Even here in Mexico, there's a lot of motorcycle drive. We're not used to that in the United States. We see motorcycles, but there aren't, hundreds of motorcycles on the street at any given time, all around us, to our left, to our right. And they get in a lot of accidents as well. I've noticed traveling to these different Latin American countries. I see just recently, a few months ago in the Dominican Republic, I saw 2 different accidents with motos. One guy was laid out in the street. He looked like he died, to be honest. Laid out in the street. They were trying to see if he was still breathing, still alive. And I've seen it various times. Many people that I know have been in motorcycle accidents in these areas as well. So stay away from those motos when you travel to Colombia, when you travel to Mexico, would be my advice. Don't get on those little motorcycles that everyone's on. They're very dangerous, and I can't recommend that enough. I also know someone who I grew up with in the United States who was from the Dominican Republic, went back to the Dominican Republic, and died in a motorcycle accident. So I know that might be a little bit, off topic, but that's one of the big things I've noticed about Latin America.
Yeah, you're right. I know when we were in Colombia, it was you would see a lot of folks on the ground. And many times they didn't have helmets on, and you can imagine what that looked like on the street. And it was a very common sight. And like you say, hundreds of motorcycles on the road, speeding by, in and out of traffic. And it's definitely great advice.
One buddy of mine who's from the United States, he came to visit the Dominican Republic. He doesn't like motorcycles either, but one day he wanted to go to church. So he said, you know what, I'll get in the motorcycle only this one time and just go to church. So he was on the back of the motorcycle and got in an accident, fell back, hit his head, just one time getting on the motorcycle. So that's why I definitely don't recommend it.
Wow. Man, okay. Great advice. Thanks for sharing. Let me ask you, cultures are different. The cultures in Latin American countries are definitely different from our culture in the States. What cultural differences would you say have been most challenging to navigate, if any?
So for me personally, I don't eat pork. So personally, and I know this is not for everyone, they like to put pork in everything in Latin America. There's been several times where I've literally said to the waiter, please do not bring me anything with pork, anything with bacon, anything with ham, and they still bring it with pork. Several times that has happened because it's a part of their culture. You could literally order something that should not have pork in it at all, and they'll just put pork in it as an addition. They think they're giving you something extra. But for someone like myself who doesn't eat pork, that could definitely be problematic. Other than that, I would say that depending on what country you're in, the people may be more friendly. I noticed that here in Merida, a lot of people are very friendly. They like to talk about, a lot of the Uber drivers, etc. They love talking about Merida, Mexico. They want to know about you, etc. And some people may not be used to seeing people that look like us, Black people.
Yeah.
So that's another thing.
Wow. So you're married to a Colombian. You met your wife in Colombia. Y'all got married. Yeah, I hear other people say, and I don't know. I just hear people talk. Based on the cultural differences, were there any marriage in itself is a challenge in itself? Were there any challenges, or I wouldn't use the word difficulties, but significant differences in the beginning of you all's relationship before you got married and while you are married, from a cultural standpoint? Is it easy or hard?
Yeah, well, there are some small things. I don't want to go too much into personal things, but one thing I would say is the food. So as you know, Latin Americans, they eat a certain way.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of rice, a lot of platano, a lot of things like that. So some of that I don't like eating so much. So there has been times where she wants me to eat, a lot of platano, arroz, the typical Colombian dishes. And I don't want it, I kind of want what I'm used to, you know what I mean? The hamburger sandwich, the different things that I'm used to eating, right? So that can be a little bit of a difference sometimes. I don't want her to get offended, you know what I mean? When I don't want to eat some of those Colombian dishes constantly, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But other than that, I would say it's been great. I would say that, and she's Afro-Colombian as well. So, the Afro-Colombians, they can relate to a lot of our experiences as, so-called African Americans. We have a lot of history in common. Obviously, we have a lot of even ancestry in common. So for me, I would say for the most part, it's been beautiful.
Okay. Does she like to eat your food, the food that you eat from the States?
Sometimes she's kind of a picky eater as well. So often, she'll try something, it's new to her, it's something that she's not used to. Again, it's a lot of rice, it's a lot of platano, it's a lot of those typical Latin American, typical Colombian dishes.
Okay. How family? How do y'all? Have many of your family members come to visit you since you've been out of the country, and how do you maintain connections with family back home?
So I do go back to the United States and visit, usually at least once a year. I go back, I visit my parents' house, I visit my grandmother, I hang out with certain cousins and things like that, my brother. And other than that, I just speak to them on WhatsApp. I speak to them on the phone and, update them on things that I'm doing. But again, one thing I would encourage others to do is if you have a goal or if you have desires or dreams that you want to accomplish, go for them. Don't let anyone, whether it be friends, whether it be family, whether it be acquaintances, don't let anyone tell you, hey, you shouldn't do that. It's too dangerous. You're not going to be able to do it. When you say you want to go to Mexico, some people will tell you, hey, it's dangerous in Mexico. Are you crazy? Why would you want to go to Mexico? Things like that. Don't listen to those voices. Respect everyone, love your people, but do what you have to do.
Last question. What would you say, what's the most rewarding part of your new lifestyle that you couldn't have anticipated before starting all of this?
So I would just have to go back again to the freedom. the ability to create my own working hours, the ability, and as you probably know as well, Cortez, and your listeners who are also business owners, when you own your own business, you want to work.
Yes.
You want to work for your business because it's your business. It's your baby. It's your self-expression. You love it. So I would say that's the difference from working at sometimes businesses or companies that may not value you, that may not treat you a certain way that you want to be treated, may not pay you what you want to be paid, etc. I would say that, and just the freedom in general, the ability to, hey, if I want to, when I get off this call with you right now, Cortez, if I want to go directly to Progresso Beach, I can go. There's no one telling me, hey, you have to be here at this time, you have to do this or that. I can schedule my own work hours. I can, set my own calendar. So I would just say that would be the main thing that I would say has been the benefit.
Y'all listen to this advice, heed it. I mean, like you said, I can't wait to wake up in the morning. Sometimes I'll wake up early to go use the bathroom, and it's 6 a.m. and I'm like, man, I'm gonna get on my computer and go to work. It's not work. I mean, you really enjoy the thing. It's something I look forward to. Sometimes I have to make myself go to bed at night because I enjoy what I'm doing. People
Me as
often
well.
ask, if people ask, why are you walking out there in that sun? I'm making these videos. I mean, to me, I can't wait to go show a new neighborhood. So it's fun. I enjoy every minute of it. And
I feel the same way. I feel the same way. It's a
exactly.
form of self-expression as well. It's a form of self-expression. You get to see the results of your hard work, and you get to reap the benefits.
Absolutely. Wow, man. Well, Caleb, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Once again, tell folks how they can reach out to you to learn more about your business.
Absolutely, Cortez. They can go to SEOrankmedia.com. They can get a free audit. There'll be a pop-up on the website. You can also click get a quote, and you can get a free quote and a free audit. And then we'll reach out to you with the details of what your website is lacking, what it needs to be fixed, why it's not ranking for certain terms on search engines, etc. They can also reach out to me directly at support@SEOrankmedia.com. That's the email, support@SEOrankmedia.com. And we can help your business get more clients, get more customers. And again, we do have specific guarantees that we do stand by.
Awesome. So make sure y'all hit the website, get that free audit. I'll make sure the links are down in the description and the comment area, so y'all can just click on and get to the website. For those of you all that are looking to make more income, whether it's more income so that you can qualify for residency, or more income so that you can move abroad and work remotely from the success of your business, definitely reach out to him and talk to him about what they can do for you.
Absolutely. And our whole team works remotely. So just like a lot of you all who are listening desire to work remotely, we also work remotely. We do have an office in Los Angeles that's for administrative purposes, but we do work remotely. So we're in the same boat as you guys. And yeah, go ahead and reach out, and we'll love to help you.
Perfect. So
I
he's
appreciate
definitely
your time, Cortez. I appreciate you for interviewing me, taking this time out to interview me. And I'll be watching your videos.
awesome. Thanks again, Caleb, for coming on. And again, y'all reach out to him. He's gonna have your back. So thanks again. You have a great day.
All right, Cortez, take care of yourself.
You too. Bye-bye.